Over the past few weeks, our tour of the archives and library have taken us into the stacks, where we examined representative books on organs and organ building, organ design. We have gone up to the third floor into the rare book room and examined books that are over 300 years old. We continued on the third floor to a tour through special collections such as Edward Hodges' collection, M.P. Moeller, Ailey, and Skinner. And along the way, we've also learned a little bit about the history of the Organ Historical Society Library and Archives. And of course, let's not forget the bunker, where we have thousands of years of organ building still awaiting to be examined and processed. So today we actually take a look at the heart of the library and archives, and that is our ephemera collection. Now, on the surface, ephemera appears to be of very little consequence because I suppose a good definition of ephemera is ephemera are the little bits and pieces of ordinary life, material things created for a specific purpose and then discarded. But ephemera are the gold mine from which books are written. Without ephemera, books on the organ could not be written. So today we take a look at our ephemera collection. We're going to build an organ, so to speak. Take an organ through its entire course from conception on paper to the celebration at the end. So we're going to begin our examination of ephemera now with salesmen, because in the late 19th and early 20th century, all organ builders, most organ builders were factories, large factories. They weren't individual concerns, and they had national salesmen. So we're going to start with the super salesman of the early 19th century. Louis Lubroff was an extraordinary salesman. It is said that he could sell a snowbank in hell, get a good price for it, and offer a 5-year guarantee. He sold more organs for the Moeller Company than all other Moeller salesmen combined. He was, and because of that, he was extraordinarily wealthy. He also had great ambition, and he was unhappy with the state of organ building in this country as a business venture. He found a venture capitalist, a Wall Street banker, and the two of them, the Wall Street banker was going to provide the money to buy up all of these competing organ companies, and Lubroff was going to organize it all. So he created this piece of ephemera for Donald Tripp, the wealthy banker. And in the summary, Lubroff writes, "It should not be our policy, nor do we recommend any sense of the word, to buy every factory operating on a profit. We wish to emphasize very strongly that the logical thing to do is to pick out the best builders, supplying houses and factories making valuable byproducts, and apply a centralized, concentrated management. For instance, reducing the overhead and increasing profits. Also standardizing wherever possible, even to the extent of making the parts interchangeable in any of 4 or 5 makes of organ." So that's Lubroff's summary. Then the man did his homework. In this volume are confidential financial statements, confidential information about the quality of work and also the financial stability of various organ builders. So here we have his page or two on the Moeller Company in Hagerstown, Maryland. Remember, Lubroff was salesman for this company. "This firm is the largest organ builder in the world from a production standpoint of church, residence, and theater organs. The management is extremely conservative and self-contented and refuses to engage outside brains, but limit themselves by recruiting all their labor from Hagerstown. They take men right off the farm for training. After an organ is sold, and after it's constructed and goes to its final home, there's a need for tuning and maintenance. And tuning and maintenance oftentimes was done by persons specializing in that, but oftentimes by an organ building company who simply filled out the balance sheet, so to speak, with tuning and maintenance. Here we have the residence and workshop of Louis Moore, M-O-H-R. Louis Moore was a New Yorker who worked for, I believe Louis Moore worked for Henry Urban, or it could have been Louis's father who worked for Henry Urban. I'm not sure that I've got the facts right. But here we are in the Bronx, and very, very pleasant. It doesn't look this way today. So Louis Moore did tuning and maintenance exclusively. But another New Yorker, George Jardine and Company, was a large organ building company. And here we have two Jardine invoices, both for First Presbyterian Church in Princeton, New Jersey. At that time, Princeton had 3 Presbyterian churches: Nassau Presbyterian, which is still in existence. Immediately across the street was First Presbyterian, which is now, I think, a non-denominational church. And a few blocks away is, it may be called Trinity. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's a black Presbyterian church. So here we have Jardine's invoices for overhauling, cleaning, moving, regulating, $145 to do all that work, and then a little more cleaning and tuning down here for $50. Of course, we can sell the organs, we can repair, we can tune the organs, but we have to build them first, at least before tuning and maintenance. And in the late 19th century, early 20th century, organs were built in factories, and sometimes large factories. And the heads of those factories sometimes were mercurial persons with an outsized personality. And the greatest of those was Ernest M Skinner. Here is a well-published photo of E.M. Skinner, looking very grandfatherly. And he was the, well, actually co-founder, it was first Skinner and Cole, and then E.M. Skinner Organ Company in Boston. And here he inscribes this photo to my dear friend E. Russell Sanborn, Ernest M. Skinner. Well, they weren't very good friends because he misspelled Russell. But E.M. Skinner was a person with a greater-than-life presence, a person of great opinion, great knowledge, and some would argue the greatest organ builder this country has ever produced. As was the practice with these large organ building factories in the previous century, where they made multiple copies of organ parts, notebooks were created so that the wheel didn't have to be invented each time an organ was built. And this notebook was created over generations, over decades, of pipe makers' notes containing dimensions on how to make organ pipes. So here we have one page on critical dimensions for making a contrabombard 32-foot. So we have the pipe pitch here, We have the body length here, diameters of each resonator here, diameters of the wooden boots which lie at the bottom of the pipe. And the total length. So here we have a notebook of ephemera that is still valuable material today.
We hope that you're enjoying OHSLA today. Join us next month as Bynum finishes the stories of the ephemera in the OHS Library and Archives.